The Boise State Broncos win their 4th game in a row as they take down the Air Force Falcons by a final score of 79-48. Justin Adams and Rachel Galligan. And when you look at this one, in the first half, it was close, it was tight, just a 2-point game. But then in the second half, the lead really expanded as Boise State was able to get whatever shot they wanted and to get the advantage and extend the lead and get the win.
Yeah, I would say the second half was entirely Boise State. Went on a huge run. I mean, some massive runs at times, and Air Force went in some big droughts. 8-minute scoring drought at one point, which allowed Boise State to outscore the Falcons 51-22 in the second half. You know, and really, Falcons went cold. They went cold from the three-point line, and that was the one thing that really kept them in it offensively in the first half.
Well, we talked about that in the first half. If Boise State was able to go and knock down those three-pointers, then the Falcons could be in trouble, and that's exactly what we saw. But we also saw Tyson Degenhart have a really great game. He scored 21 points, had 12 points in the second half. He was the catalyst to the victory today for the Broncos.
Well, I mean, just his offensive, you know, just prowess and how aggressive he is on the offensive glass. Rebounding numbers were a huge differential in the second half, but he did a really good job. I think from the start, the focus was being able to pound the ball in the paint and just insert your will, and just continue to be aggressive. And then Agbo, I mean, was absolutely unbelievable. He was a matchup problem for the Falcons. He was knocking down perimeter shots. He was aggressive to the rim, got himself to the free throw line, finished with 17 points. He was a matchup problem.
Don't forget about Omar Stanley. He also had 15 points for Boise State. But on a positive end, we were able to see a lot of the young guys be able to step up for Air Force. The future was able to make some points out there on hardwood.
Yeah, and Selhasky, the seven-foot freshman, got some really solid minutes here in a big game, going against some big competition, finished with a career-high 6 points. So some bright spots here for the future of this young Air Force Falcon teams as we take a look at some of the numbers. Those turnovers, that was something that really plagued the Falcons early in the first half and then early in the second half. And to me, the biggest differential in this game was how those rebounding numbers were able to be stretched out. Boise State, ended up being really dominant on the glass, out-rebounding the Falcons by 11, 14 second-chance points as well.
Rita Petritis, the only player for the Falcons in double figures with 19 points, but Bo Becker was held scoreless. That's the first time this season he did not score. Also, Ethan Taylor, he fouled out of this game, only had 8 points. Anytime you look at your trio of scores that you have right there and they don't have a lot of production, it makes it very difficult to beat anyone, especially a team like Boise State.
Yeah, and I think that was the game plan for Boise State coming into the game. We're not going to allow that three-headed monster of Bo Becker, Ethan Taylor, and Petritis kind of have their way. We're going to eliminate that. They frustrated Ethan Taylor. They kept Bo Becker out, only had 2 shot attempts. And Rita Petritis, I mean, he was doing everything he can. He, to the very end, was hustling, making plays. But again, you're missing those 2 other scores. That's the difference in the game.
So Boise State stays on top of the Mountain West standings with a victory and a rout here against the Air Force Falcons. Boise State will improve to 20-8 overall and also 11-4 in conference play. And on the other end, when you look at Air Force, they will fall to 9-18 and 2-13 in conference play. Well, it was a game where you look at Air Force, so you said they had a great opportunity to be able to go pull off the upset. Wasn't able to do so as Boise State scored 51 points in the second half. Air Force only scored 22. So our final score tonight, Boise State 79, Air Force 48. We'll be right back on March 9th at 2 p.m. when the men's basketball team takes on the Colorado State Rams. This has been a presentation of Altitude Sports and Entertainment, your home for the Air Force Falcons. For myself, Justin Adams, and Rachel Galligan, and the entire crew, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you all season long right here on Altitude Sports and Entertainment.